it is ridiculous and it is against the laws of nature that we can have somebody sitting pretty who takes home more money than the credible entrepreneur who is doing actual production of goods and services.
We always say it as it is.
It is only in this country that when a thief is arrested, you hear elders from their tribe saying, he is our son and he is our thief.
If you are deviant
Yes.
and I call you leader, probably you are already a leader, but you are leading in the wrong direction.
We want to see the role of the youth
Yeah.
in the security,
Yes.
governance,
Yes.
and development.
The youth that I meet and work with here, you know, we call them the millennials and X's and Y's, this and that. They don't necessarily want to live like their fathers and grandfathers,
Yes.
do business like their fathers and grandfathers. They're more independent, they're better educated, and they're the ones that are making everything move in this region.
We look at the issues, we talk about issues that impact people's lives in Africa.
The African peoples themselves continue to cheer bad leaders, and because they cheer them on, they continue to be misled.
Let me ask you, doctor, would you rather be somebody who does not enjoy so much freedom but you are rich?
Yes.
Or you'd rather be poor who you are actually imprisoned by the poverty itself?
My goal is not to come here and say, I want the majority ownership, I want to own this, I want to own that, I want to do this. My goal is we all make money and we're all happy, and I help build a big business here.
Punchline is for Africa, with Africa, from Africa.
Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us this morning. The show is Good Morning Africa. My name is Miriam Mugutu, and of course, we're coming to you as usual from Kenya capital here in Nairobi. Glad you could find time to be with us today. Before I get us to know what is really making headlines on the leading newspapers here in the country today, I would like to bring us up to date with the latest figures of COVID-19 in the country and Kenya so far. This morning, the confirmed cases have topped 134,058 cases. The death toll is 2,153, and recovery so far is 92,679 cases. And we go to South Sudan. The cases right now in South Sudan is 10,165. The death toll is 109. Recoveries is 9,668. So South Sudan is not doing too bad in terms of controlling the spread of COVID-19. And then we head over to South Africa, where now the figure stands at 1,548,157. The death toll is 52,846, and recovery so far is 1,474,319 cases. And then the total figures in Africa this morning is 4,203,087. The number of people who have since succumbed to COVID-19 in the continent right now stands at 112,471 cases, and recovery so far is 3,762,968. And the rest I'll bring us up to date later on in our subsequent bulletin. So joining me on the panel this morning, we have Dr. Joseph Nyanchama from Nairobi. Doctor, a very good morning to you.
And you.
Okay, as we wait for the doctor to unmute, we are joined by Professor Jared Onyari. Prof, a very good morning to you. And please, if you can adjust your headroom.
Miriam,
Yes.
good morning to you, my fellow panelists, our viewers from wherever they are this morning, this afternoon, depending on the time zone.
All right. Thank you so much, Prof. Nice to have you. And we're also joined by Daniel Wesonga. Daniel, a very good morning to you.
Yes, very, very good morning, Miriam Okutu at our headquarters here in Nairobi. Good morning, Professor Jared Onyari, my fellow panelists, our viewers here in Kenya, East Africa, Africa, and the rest of the continent. Good morning.
Okay, very well. Thank you, Daniel. And good morning to you too, Jivan Karanja. Good morning.
Good morning, Miriam, and good morning to our viewers wherever they are catching this broadcast from. And good morning to my fellow panelists. Thanks for having me on the show.
Very well, nice to have you. And we are also joined by Douglas Kirimi, all the way from Meru County. Douglas, habari ya asubuhi.
Very good morning to you, Miriam Ogutu, and also to our friends across the world, and also to my co-panelists. Good morning. Thank you for having me on the show.
And nice to have you. And I think Musa is joining us. So once he's able to connect, we shall have him and we will continue. So let me just read through quickly the headlines this morning. And we start with the Star newspaper. Handshake, Uhuru's call that settled Raila. And then up there, Paul Koinange's soft-spoken operator who had Uhuru's ear. And just besides that, coronavirus is painfully real, says a speaker. And then woman who left spouse for harder denied divorce. And then down there we have our pictorial story there of workers plead with Kenyatta to lift order on hotels closure. Yesterday we saw that a few Kenyans are protesting in Nairobi CBD, asking President Uhuru Kenyatta to reconsider the closure of restaurants and the mode of operation. Right now they've been affected. And we go to the Daily Nation and the main headline, it is official. Raila in State House race. It is no longer a question of if former Prime Minister Raila Odinga wishes to take a fifth stab at the presidency, but whether his two opponents will step aside to give him a free pass or take him on in the primaries and let the members decide. That is the main story on the Daily Nation. And just besides that, 3 counties ran out of free COVID-19 vaccine. At least 3 counties have run out of the AstraZeneca vaccine, with hospitals turning away thousands of eligible Kenyans, including the elderly. An acute shortage of the jab has been reported in Nyeri, Nairobi, Murang'a, Uasin Gishu, with Nyeri virtually suspending the vaccination program until new doses are delivered. That is the main story there. And then that's it. And then on the Standard newspaper, the main headline, Raila's top men in this was from yesterday, so I don't know where the Standard paper for today is, but I'll wait for that to be given to me, because today is the 1st of April. And so this we did yesterday, so I'll just wait for that to be given. So thank you so much. It's official. Raila in State House race. That is the main headline there on the Daily Nation. Dr. Joseph Nyanchama. It was sort of an open secret. I don't think it is a surprise. Are you surprised that Raila is running again for the 5th time? Okay, I'll go to Professor Jared Onyari. Prof? All right, I'll go to Daniel.
Miriam, I'm here. Miriam, I am so much delighted with those kind of news, Miriam. And Miriam, if there is any man that I've got a lot of tremendous respect for, is the Prime Minister, Engineer Raila Amolo Odinga. He is very patriotic, Miriam. He means well for this country.
Okay, we seem to be having a bit of a technical hitch there in connection with Prof. Is it
Miriam, you know,
Prof, your connection?
I have been on the rig of that we have. Am I?
Yeah,
hello?
Your connection is very poor.
You can hear?
Your connection is not very strong, so there's a bit of. But I think now it's sounding a little bit better. Or you switch on to audio, and then maybe we can hear you properly. Okay.
Yeah, Miriam. I'm saying, Miriam, that what the Prime Minister has done, saying that he is going to give a trial next year for presidency. And I've said that it's very patriotic. He means well for this country, Miriam. And I'm proceeding to say that I am on the rig of David Murate and Brother Francis Atwoli. He said that we give him one moment. But he has been saying, Miriam, that until we are through with BBI is when we say that he is on the race. But I will be either sit Miriam, you know, the clock is ticking very fast, Miriam. We are less than 16 months to a general election, Miriam, next year. So him coming out, it is his constitutional right, and if he gets the ticket from his party ODM, because many of the candidates have seen Oparanya is going for it, Joe is going for it, and other candidates who have already applied for presidential ticket from ODM. If he gets to Miriam, it's fine. It is his democratic right that he tries Miriam. The ultimate people to decide Miriam who becomes what, who becomes their leader, are the people of Kenya. And age is not a limit, Miriam. President Mwai Kibaki tried several times before he became one. Abraham Lincoln, Miriam, tried for the office for many years before he became one. So I wish him well. I hope we'll go through the PPI and then we take this country forward. That is a good gesture, Miriam.
Okay.
All
right. Thank you so much. So the story is on page 7 of the Daily Nation, and I'll just read a bit of it. It says, the Nation established that the meeting of the Central Management Committee was informed that Mr. Odinga and his chief deputies, Governors Ali Hassan Joho of Mombasa and Kakamega Wycliffe of Oparanya, met yesterday's deadline of submitting applications for ODM's presidential ticket. A source said a decision to make public names of those who applied for the presidential race ticket was shelved because the deadline was midnight yesterday. The announcement by the ODM National Elections Board, which extended the initial deadline of February 26th to March 31st, is expected today. So we've seen ODM had its deadline. 3 of its members, they're led by Raila, were able to meet that deadline, one of them being Hassan Joho, the outgoing governor of, he's still serving until next year. He is on his last term, of Mombasa, and Wycliffe Oparanya of Kakamega, and Raila. Now 3 ODM presidential candidates there. I don't know how that's going to play out, but it's official now. Dr. Joseph Nyanchama, that Raila is going to attempt his 5th term on the presidency of this country.
Thank you, Miriam. Now I think I'm audible. And, it is a very clever way, intelligent way of Raila himself and the ODM party for accepting primary nominations. In fact, it will give him an advantage when he will begin the real campaign, because he will portray himself as a true Democrat. I think that could be a strategy. These other ones, in the normal way, you could say they are just flower girls escorting the real bride. So I think it's a strategy from my own view, that they know they cannot beat him, but it is an advantage they are seeking as a party, that Raila has all along been a Democrat, and they have to demonstrate from their home front. It is his democratic right. For me, it's not a surprise. The guy has tried. Even, in fact, Mahathir Mohamad, there were 4 tests, but finally he became the prime minister. Because you see, people are visionaries to a certain extent. There are forces which you want to prevent, but we wish him well, and we pray for him. any other person who has a desire for the bigger seat, so long as he has interests of the people and the citizen at heart, we pray for them.
Okay.
I submit, Miriam.
Thank you so much. Daniel Wesonga, Doc there is saying Joho and Wetangula are, I just put it in quotes, flower girl, but the real bride here is Raila.
Yes, Miriam, when you look at Raila Odinga vis-a-vis these other contestants who have been fronted by the ODM party, you realize that Raila, in as much as they're equally the presidential candidate that are perceived to be, that will be coming from ODM, Raila could be the first among equals based on his capability. You know, he has been someone who has run a presidential election campaign before. He's someone who has connection not only in Kenya, Africa, but the rest of the world. Raila, when you look at his age, when you look at his acumen as a seasoned politician with a high intuition, then that tells you that he will have an upper hand when it comes to taking the flag bearer, the ticket of party, as well as also nationally when he now gets to the stage where he has to compete with any other candidates who will be coming from any other coalition or any other party, then that tells you that he will have very high chances of perhaps maybe being the next president. And that is the very same school of thought that Jubilee Vice Chairman David Murathe said, that looking back and looking at all the people who have already shown their ambitions to succeed President Uhuru Kenyatta, Raila Odinga comes out as someone with the correct temperament, someone with the right skills to actually steer the country towards unity, to be able to uphold the legacy of the previous presidents that have been in the helm of power. So therefore, he becomes as someone who is more likely, who is positioned quite well to succeed the President Uhuru Kenyatta. And that is, in that regard, Miriam, I agree with Dr. Joseph Nyanchama that perhaps the former Prime Minister is the horse here. The rest are just flaggers who are escorting him. And in the fullness of time, it will come out clearly that perhaps now he will be the ODM flag bearer.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jevan Karanja. Our wengine ni flower girls, or they are serious contenders and might pose a serious competition to Raila Odinga in clinching the ticket for ODM in the next general election.
Thank you very much, Miriam, for that question and the topic that you are discussing this good morning. One, we have seen the former Prime Minister Odinga going and trying the presidency for about four times now. Therefore, he is a man who has experience, and we know in terms of support, he enjoys support across the country. Therefore, I think as we are now, former Prime Minister Odinga is in a very better position to convince Kenyans that he is a man to succeed President Uhuru Kenyatta. His statesmanship act when he shook hand with President Uhuru Kenyatta after the contentious presidential election in 2017 put him in a very good pedestal as a man who cares for this country, as a man who has the interest of Kenyans at heart. Therefore, in regard to that, Miriam, we can consider him as the best person to take this country to the next level. We saw it in 2007 when he was a prime minister. He came up with very good blueprints in terms of economy, in terms of job creation to the young people. And that is when he came with the Kazi kwa Vijana. Yeah, and he has done quite a lot in terms of ensuring this country moves to the next level. Since we have not tried him to at the presidency level, I think this time is ripe for him to be the president. If Kenyans agree to say. But Miriam, when he was also in opposition in 2013, 2017, we saw him do an exemplary job. He put the government of the day in toes, and he ensured that he checks and balances. And to some extent, most of the big corruption scandals that were happening then in the Jubilee administration were brought into limelight by former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. And Miriam, when you walk around the streets this day, you'll hear people say, now Raila Odinga did a very, he is not in opposition this day. We don't know what is happening in government. Simply means that Kenyans are missing him in his opposition role. Therefore, this is a man who has proved beyond any doubt that if given the hands of leadership, gives the tools of power, he can really truly transform this country. On the issue at hand, the ODM presidential flag bearer, I think Joho, in his capacity, he has the support of the coast, but not the support of all Kenyans across. Wycliffe Oparanya, to some extent, he is only relegated into to a very small area in Kakamega. Therefore, he is not the big man to face over with Raila Odinga. And I think they are portraying a very good gesture that ODM is a democratic party. They don't force candidates. They go through a democratic process to ensure they get the right presidential flag bearer. Therefore, to me, that puts an ODM party in a very good line. But we also see other political parties trying to copy what the ODM is doing in terms of recruiting and getting their presidential candidate. Therefore, that is a very good move. But Miriam, all said and done, it's upon Kenyans to make their decision on the ballot, Miriam. This issue of voting leaders, not only the president, but leaders across all positions, elective position, and later start complaining that the leaders are not delivering. These leaders, we did a very bad choice. Kenyans should understand that choices have consequences. If you vote bad leaders, don't expect much. You'll expect a lot of poor leadership, a lot of mistreatments, a lot of intimidations, and a poor economy. Therefore, it's upon Kenyans, when we go for the ballot, to make wiser decisions and to look for the leaders who have the interest of Kenyans, leaders who can transform this country, and leaders who have a track record of managing the CDF, of ensuring when they were members of parliament, they transformed the livelihoods of people. When they were CSS, they did a good job. Those are the kind of leaders that we need to go for. The leaders who have a history of performing and delivering service to Kenyans. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now, since Joho has really started his presidential beat a bit earlier there, and I think maybe people, I don't know why people don't take that seriously. Is it a formality on ODM, or these two are a real competition to Raila Odinga to carry being the flag bearer of ODM party there, Douglas Kirimi?
Miriam, Raila Odinga has worked for this country in different capacities, and we have also tested his mettle. And for their own party, ODM party, to go ahead and also exercise internal democracy, it is very good for our own democracy as a country. And also it gives us an opportunity to see what other parties are going to do, because they are very automatic, that we know some parties are going to front certain individuals, or those certain individuals are going to speak for and behalf of other of their parties. So ODM gives us a glimpse of what internal democracy looks like in parties, and I welcome the move by ODM not to automatically give Raila Odinga, who is the definite leader and the conclusive leader of ODM, a direct ticket for presidency. Gives Asanari Joe an opportunity to be able to battle for the presidency within ODM, and also gives him a chipboard for him to be able to walk into negotiations in the future as a full presidential contender in his own party that did not make it to the ballot. Gives Wycliffe Ambetsa or Paranya an opportunity to be able to battle it out in internal democracy, so that when external democracy comes, he will also have an opportunity to be able to exercise his own democratic right as a Kenyan and also as a full presidential contender. So for ODM to do what they are doing today, I believe, like everyone else believes, the consequential presidential candidate of ODM is Raila Amolo Odinga, and also the end result of the same we all know. But at the end of the day, it is good for them to be able to nurture and groom other presidential contenders, so that we shall not have Raila Odinga as the only perennial presidential contender using the ODM party as an individual. But for others like as Arias and Joe, remember also inches on their side, Wycliffe Oparanya, negotiation for their own positions in future because they can no longer serve as governors. It gives us an opportunity, Miriam, to test what internal democracy tastes like, so that we can also see how those other contenders pull against Raila Odinga, the man himself, so that we can see is the coastal province Bide Arias and Joe, is the western province Bide Wycliffe Oparanya, and even anyone can go there. Jevan Karanjas of this world, Sean Wesongas of this world, Musa Habdi Madidor of this world can go to ODM party, register as members, and now become presidential candidates in future. They now have a fair ground to be able to start their own ambitions to become presidents of this nation, Miriam. And I welcome that kind of internal democracy. And this is my submission, that ODM has given us an opportunity to be able to know that you can be able to compete for the presidential position or presidential ticket from your own party without necessarily having a consequential man that is going to automatically assume that position. So it gives us a room to be able to grow our own democracy as a people, as parties, and also as a nation. It gives us an opportunity to be able to see what we can be able to do when we come together and without bias compete based on ideas, based on policies, and based on what we can be able to deliver. I submit me.
Okay, thank you so much, Musa. What do you make of all this?
Yeah.
Musa Abdi.
Yes, Miriam.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, very well. Thank you so much. The topic that we're looking at this morning, before we get into what Raila said about the BBI, but now it's official that ODM has 3 presidential candidates that will battle it out in the primaries before they get one flag bearer. Outside of Raila Odinga, there is Hassan Joho, a governor for Mombasa, and Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya. The rest of the panelists think they're not very serious contenders, these two, but we've seen Joho really have been trying to look a bit serious in his quest to become the president of the Republic of Kenya. Normality, or its democracy happening there in ODM.
Yes, Miriam.
I'll just move on. You did not get my question?
You can pardon me?
Okay. I'm just saying what is happening there in ODM. What do you make of it?
Yeah, thank you, Miriam. I'm sorry for the misconnection a bit. Responding to your first question, Miriam, before I go to second, is that it is my... As a young man, I'm not convinced, Miriam, yet that I have a presidential candidate who can look for the interest of young people in this country, Miriam. I'm glad that when I was in class 5 or class 6 of my studies, Miriam, at the primary school, my mom voted for Mwai Kibaki. And those are some of the things I can say. At least I'm proud today, being the product of free primary education, Miriam. But apart from that, I'm going to cast my vote, Miriam, for the first time in 2022, because the second time, in 2017, I could not vote because my IDs were delayed, Miriam, because of one reason or another. But coming to the main question, Miriam, do we have presidential candidates who have the interest of people at heart, Miriam? Do we have modern days Thomas Sankara? Do we have modern day John Joseph Pombe Magufuli of this country, Miriam? Do we have Modibo Keita of this country, Miriam? The answer is no. And so I believe, Miriam, up to now, as a young man and even as a northerner, Miriam, political parties and, party politics in this country, it's all about recycling. People have been coming and going, Miriam. And I'm not only expressing this as a sense of frustration. It's good to be straightforward, Miriam, and talk the truth. Why this country is ailing the way it is. After every general election we fight, after every political process is completed after 5 years, Miriam, it's all about ethnicity. So I'm not convinced, but for Raila Amolo Odinga, as long as in this continent of Africa, whereby political party is a personal property, Miriam, I can't lie about that. Everyone knows this. I wish him all the best. He has participated in second liberation of this country. He has tried his best. Now we have another outfit in the name of
OKA, One Kenya Alliance, which is also eyeing some presidential, ambitions as far as that umbrella is concerned. But Miriam, just to be honest, what young people are really going through, Miriam, day in, day out, we are used in general elections, either as violent or mobbist or people who are, committing violence and, crimes here and there, Miriam. We've never been brought to decision-making table, Miriam. And let me tell you, let us demystify one lie here whereby people are saying in these political parties, we are seeing young people being nominated. Those are young people from the rich families of those people who are closer to these presidential candidates, Miriam. So I feel just as a natural Kenyan and, open from my heart, Miriam, from the bottom of my heart, I'm yet to see the real presidential candidate who can not only, who can not speak on the need of ethnicity and on the need of criticizing the past predecessor, but someone who comes with fresh ideas, Miriam, someone who is not even known in the public. Let me tell you the truth. The way Magufuli was brought from nowhere, Miriam, with an approval rate of 58%.
Okay.
This is the level I want to see my country. So for my humble submission, ODM party with its party democracy, Miriam, of submitting the names, as you've said before yesterday, I wish them well, Miriam, but I believe with the 21st century Kenya, Miriam, we don't need people who come and go in the name of political parties and renewing themselves, Miriam, recycling themselves. We need fresh blood in this, Miriam, and this is what we should be pushing for. And I cannot lie to you, if there is something which is so insignificant to me personally, Miriam, come 2022, it shall be presidential ballot, Miriam. Because I've not seen any benefit a young man can get. As far as this is concerned, Miriam, unemployment since independence has been high, Miriam. We are battling a lot of issues. Corruption is here, Miriam. President Uhuru Kenyatta complains day in, day out. 2 billion Kenya shillings is being stolen, Miriam.
Very well.
So
yes,
that's my humble submission, Miriam.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. So we'll just move on to yesterday as well. The handshake Uhuru's call that settled Raila's fear. That is the headline on the Star newspaper. So I would like for us to look at that quickly. The story is on what page? We saw yesterday Raila coming out and issuing a statement after that meeting he had at his place, I believe. And he said that ODM is, the handshake is still there, and he reiterated his commitment and ODM's party commitment to the handshake there. And so, Dr. Joseph Nyanchama, will this help in restoring a bit of faith? Because for the events that happened last week, especially that interview that Deputy President William Ruto had, a lot of people started, we even had that conversation here, and I thought, are we overlooking at what is really happening? But Raila came out and assured us that the handshake is strong and their commitment to that handshake is still there. And he's one of the authors of that handshake. So should that settle the doubts that had started to arise?
I think, Miriam, first of all, allow me to state the meaning of the word will, which most people don't understand. Will actually is the inner power which is not influenced or affected by outside circumstances. If Raila Amolo Odinga yesterday showed a lot of interest still in the BBI and said it is committed, I'm now trying to believe that he had the will when he had the handshake with His Excellency the President. Because people, confuse will with the inner raw ambition which is hidden. Will is the humble, the silent humility in a person where he vows within him to move to the end. And now I am believing Honorable Raila Odinga is committed to move to the end. Coming to the issue where there was excitement, when there was an indication that they could likely work together with the other person, let me tell you something. If two men desire one thing definitely they must compete. I don't know why people were excited. And the desire for one thing here is the presidency. And there are one way two competing people can work together when they desire for one thing. Either one has already surrendered that he will derive the benefit when what is desired is acquired. That tells you if Raila desires for presidency and the others who thought they would work together with him desire for the same presidency, there has to be competition. These issues of being excited over coalition was premature. I submit, Miriam.
Okay, thank you so much. So the story is on page 6 of the Star newspaper. ODM boss Raila Odinga has moved to allay supporters' anxiety and suspicions on the handshake status amid reports President Uhuru Kenyatta has phoned him over betrayal fears. The details emerged after some of Raila's closest confidants publicly hinted at the collapse of the handshake, alleging a scheme to elbow him from the center of the Building Bridges initiative. Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya, who is also Raila Odinga's deputy in ODM, on Tuesday termed the BBI referendum untenable because of the economic slump occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic. Tsuna East Member of Parliament Junet Mohammed, party's Director of Elections and a close confidant of Raila's, claimed there was a plot to push the former Prime Minister from the BBI despite his immense sacrifices. Given the high-ranking status of the two top Raila confidants in ODM hierarchy, it was believed that their outburst had the former PM's blessings, but we did not hear Raila say anything or President Uhuru Kenyatta say anything before that. So Raila yesterday came out and said, you know what, I'm still committed to this handshake as a person, and ODM as a party is still in the handshake and committed to see this handshake to the end. Professor, will this help in quelling the anxiety that some of the handshake supporters had started perhaps having?
Yes, Miriam, thank you for that good question. And this is what I have to say. Miriam, have you ever watched how the Wathol behaves, Miriam? It goes to a river, it drinks water. Before it finishes, it is scared by the crocodile, it runs away a few meters ago and it goes back, Miriam. I want with a lot of humility, Miriam, I'm not insulting Kenyans, but I want to say that most Kenyans want to have a memory like the one of a Wathol. Miriam, have we forgotten where the country was 2017, Miriam? Do you know how the economy was? The investors were not even willing to come to this country, Miriam. Do you know there are some people who wrote their properties, Miriam? I could see one woman, Miriam, who had taken money from the bank and bought a minibus, Miriam, and it was banned, Miriam. So, Miriam, when I had this conversation, and I think sometimes, Miriam, if what I say they listen, or if they don't, we always think alike, Miriam. I say that the president and the prime minister should meet. And these are not ordinary Kenyans, Miriam. As others are trying to call them Ashuras, Miriam, when this country was being liberated, Miriam, it is the president, his father, and the prime minister's father who came together, Miriam, and they founded this country, Miriam. They are among the founding fathers of this country. So these sons cannot destroy what their fathers fought very hard to build, Miriam. You know, Jomo went into detention, Miriam, into prison for more than 7 years, Miriam. Uhuru was born when Jomo was in prison, Miriam. You know this. I am trying to build this one, Miriam. When they just sat together, they said, Miriam, they identified what is heading this country, Miriam. They say that Wakenya wanachihurumia kwa Wakenya. They say that, Miriam, it is high time that we have national ethos, Miriam, where we feel that we are Kenyans, where we see that this country belongs to all of us, not one person, Miriam. Miriam, they said, oh, Miriam, the more than 2 billion shillings, Miriam, is going to people's pockets, Miriam, every day. They said, Miriam, we must be able to deal with corruption, Miriam. Miriam, they say that Kenya, we must have inclusivity, Miriam, where every voice matters, Miriam. You say, Miriam, that if we have to take this country forward, let us not leave anyone behind. We have said, Miriam, that people to say haki yetu. Yes, this cake which we want to share, Miriam, we must have responsibility, Miriam. They say responsibility and rights. We said, Miriam, we must have shared prosperity, Miriam. Miriam, they said, Miriam, that if we need to take this country forward, Miriam, more money should be taken to devolution, Miriam. See the ranks of Oparanya, Miriam. Who will reply that parochial kind of thinking, Miriam? Who have got no feelings but tourism for this country, Miriam. You know, we gave them money to prepare for COVID, Miriam. What did they do, Miriam? You saw them just buying a land for people to be buried and buying body bags for so that so this is their thinking. And Miriam, some of these governors, some of these people who are opposing Miriam, you know where they are coming from. They know their time is up. They have served 2 terms as governors, Miriam. They cannot be able to see their future, Miriam, and to be relevant, Miriam, is to seem to oppose Miriam. So, Miriam, what am I trying to say? That through devolution, Miriam, they say that we want more money to go to the grassroots, Miriam. For the first time, Miriam, if BBI goes through that, Miriam, my village and everyone is village, Miriam, they will have almost 100 million for a financial year, Miriam, which they will be able to fix those kind of things. My question here is, Miriam, and you said that the president, the prime minister, trying to echo that BBI is on. Have we achieved the 9-point agenda which they came forward, Miriam? The answer is no. Mm-hmm. So until we attain what we achieved, the must say that the BBI is on. And Miriam, we are at the tail end of BBI. We are only waiting the members of parliament, and I'm telling you, Miriam, we need our document back. That document has got nothing to do from them to do with them, Miriam. We only want that they just go through it because the Constitution says so. Whether they are going to amend it or not amend it, it doesn't. They cannot even amend even a comma, Miriam. So the people who are going to decide, Miriam, are the people of Kenya. You saw what the Tanga characters were trying to do, Miriam, trying to mislead the MCAs, Miriam. You saw the overwhelming support. Almost more than 44% of the 47 counts, Miriam, they supported it. Miriam, from where I sit, I have no fear that when we get that document, Miriam, the people of Kenya will pass it. Mm-hmm. The prime minister coming forward and saying this is our document, that he still believes in it, Miriam, that is a big, phenomenal, and huge statement, Miriam. Mm-hmm. I submit.
Okay. Thank you so much. And according to the story on page 6 of the Star newspaper, it continues to say an ODM official yesterday told the Star that Uhuru phoned Raila at least twice on Tuesday night and Wednesday morning, affirming his support for the handshake and the BBI referendum. The official could not divulge finer details of the conversation between the two leaders, but alluded to the fact that Uhuru reassured Raila of his commitment to the BBI and the referendum. So we see these two up. The authors and the owners of this handshake, President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga. And now from this story I'm reading, President Uhuru Kenyatta had to phone Raila Odinga and tell him, hey, despite of what is you're hearing or what, the stories that are going around, I, as President Uhuru Kenyatta, I am still committed to that agreement I had with you. It still means something. I'm committed to seeing that this process we see to the end, because at the end of the day, it was never about him or Raila. It was a bigger picture for the rest of Kenya. And Raila Odinga, we saw him yesterday coming out and saying, yes, I'm still committed to this handshake and to what handshake has brought and to this whole process, because this process has nothing to do with him or the elections that are coming, but for the greater good of Kenya. Should that now, Daniel, just make the supporters of the handshake or the people who are already starting to become very anxious over the stories that we've been seeing in the papers and around social media and all that, to just now calm down and, the process to continue?
Yes, Miriam, first of all, we have to realize that both President Uhuru Kenyatta and the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga are statesmen. These are people who have a very long experience in politics. Remember, President Uhuru Kenyatta gave his first stab at the presidency in 2002, Raila Odinga in 1997. And these people know how these kind of game works, rather. And we've been having a lot of reverberations. We've been having a lot of murmurs and discontent from the official statement, neither from President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga, that perhaps they had some kind of pessimism about the handshake and their quest to push for constitutional reforms. So all these kind of doubts, all these kind of maybe aspirations have been coming from people who were never party to the handshake, people who never knew whatever agreement President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga had in March of 2018. So to me, I believe the handshake is intact as long as President Uhuru Kenyatta hasn't come out and stated categorically that they are maybe facing some hitches here and there, or maybe Raila Odinga hasn't come out clearly. So that is what it is. And I believe soon enough, they're going to ensure that we are able to have a referendum before we go to the 2022 presidential polls. What I could say right now, perhaps, is the COVID, the condition as they are right now. You understand that we are facing some kind of lockdown, and therefore it cannot provide the conducive environment to continue with activities that we had in regards to the BBI schedule. But Miriam, when it comes to matters of the state of affairs of the handshake and the BBI, I believe the former Prime Minister yesterday reassured his supporters that the handshake is intact and they should be positive about pushing the BBI agenda. As far as the president is concerned, he has not come out to say that they had maybe a deadlock on the way forward with the former Prime Minister. These other masqueraders can continue talking, they can continue casting aspersions. But as it is, the BBI is intact, the handshake is very intact, and that is at least according to the two principles, I submit.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. Jevan Karanja.
Miriam, one thing that we need to understand is that the handshake was between two individuals, and that is President Uhuru Kenyatta as the head of state and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga as the head of opposition and also as the presidential flag bearer of the NASA brigade. Therefore, these people, they came together not in their individual capacities, but as people who represent a majority of Kenyans. On the just concluded election in 2017, President Uhuru Kenyatta gathered around 8 million and Raila Odinga gathered 6 million. To me, I think when they went for the handshake, they represented, these were just a representation of the number of the people that they represented or who voted to them. Therefore, it was two people, but the most important thing, the handshake was not limited to them, but it was opened to other Kenyans through BBI. Therefore, anybody who thinks that handshake was between two individuals is wrong. Yes, it's two individuals who shook hands, but they opened the door for a wider dialogue, for Kenyans to come together on the table and to bring the issues that makes them fight, to bring issues, to bring recommendation on how they want their country to be run. Therefore, I see handshake as a very good thing, that because it gave birth to BBI that we are celebrating now. BBI, it was open to all Kenyans. They put the recommendation, the contents of BBI, they are made by Kenyans. Therefore, to me, I feel like BBI is a document that is owned by Kenya, but led by President Uhuru Kenyatta and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. Therefore, if Raila Odinga assures us that we, the people of this country, that the handshake is strong, we can't doubt that, because he is a man, Miriam, and we know for a fact, if there's a person who has suffered in terms of electoral injustices in this country, is the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. If there's a man who have gone through the political pain in this country, is the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. This was a man who was in detention for almost 9 years. Therefore, he knows what it takes to have a prosperous nation and a political terrain that is leveled. Therefore, if they came together for the sake of this country, Miriam, let's also as Kenyans join them in pushing this BBI together and ensuring that we make an awareness to all Kenyans who maybe not understand the contents of BBI, and we vote for this document because it has good recommendation, it has good contents, it has good proposals to ensure that as a country we move to the next level, a level whereby we'll be looking at ourselves as Kenyans, not as a tribe or ethnic mobilization or ethnic groups where we come from. Therefore, at the end of the day, Miriam, this is a good document, and I thank President Uhuru Kenyatta and the former Prime Minister for bringing us such meritocracy document to ensure that we move to the next level, Miriam. Therefore, if Raila Odinga assures us, I'm also well pursued that President Uhuru Kenyatta is still in handshake, is still in the BBI, so that we move this country together as a nation. And those people, and especially the Deputy President Kalonzo Musyoka, who feel like they were not part of the handshake, they should understand that if handshake was opened to all these political players, Miriam, we could not be where we are today because they have tried to bring it down. We have seen how the Tangatangas have tried to fight this document. We have seen other internal ruggles within ODM who don't want this handshake. Therefore, it was prudent for President Uhuru Kenyatta to have a limit of people who go for this handshake, because if they opened the door for more political players, we could not be where we are today. Therefore, let's support this document, and I'm happy that even those people who are opposed to the document in first place, they are coming back in terms, and they have started seeing the best recommendation that we have in this document. Therefore, I wish after we go with out of woods from COVID-19, the government will ensure that they create a lot of education and awareness and advocacy so that all Kenyans will have a one-on-one interaction with this document, so that Kenyans who maybe in the villages who don't understand the contents of BBI will understand their BBI, and so as we go to vote, Miriam, Kenyans will make a wiser decision based on the information and the right information that they have, not the misconception that has been created by the enemies of progress. Thank you.
Enemies of progress. All right, thank you. So, Mbadi, the National Assembly Minority Leader, told the Star that yesterday's meeting was meant to allay the confusion that handshake was on shaky grounds. Will that, with the statement there yesterday, Douglas, will that bring some form of clarity and just calm people down?
Miriam, we have a problem in this country. Someone said on social media some other time, it was a press conference of coffee or water, and just political analysts to spend 3 months talking about how what Raila intended to talk, what is rooting from Oponda Farm, and all manner of things. Many people have never understood it. Is something that is said to be shrouded in a mystery. And at the end of the day, Miriam, what we are experiencing today and what we are seeing today is a hypocrisy that we have always seen in this nation. Because most of the people that we are having in the country wanted this BBI process to die. And at the end of the day, it has never died the way they have thought. They have always cast up aspersions as far as the BBI is concerned, as if BBI means clarification every end month or every after 2 months, and it has not succeeded, Miriam. So at the end of the day, we need to also tell Kenyans the truth, that they should be able to mind their businesses, politicians mind their businesses, and these scenes of discord for BBI have been planted and also financed by the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. He has never believed in the handshake, and he has always wanted it to fail. So that every morning, anyone that is allied to Raila will wake up like John Buddy, make a clarification on TV, they will say handshake is strong. When someone from president side that supports the president makes an aspersion in the morning, we are told the handshake is strong. When someone allied to deputy president makes a tweet, BBI is dead and all that, then we are told that BBI is in tatters. And at the end of the day, we have never heard publicly Raila Odinga himself and the president speak about the content of their meeting on 9th March 2018. And also, actually, they have never denounced handshake even for a single moment. They have never backtracked from the same. So I think it is the high time ODM supporters and also leaders and also people who support the president actually mind their own business as far as this handshake is concerned, Miriam, because this was a business between two great leaders, the Right Honorable Raila Odinga and the President of the Republic of Kenya. As far as I'm concerned, Miriam, I keep watching the mouth of President Uhuru Kenyatta. I watch the mouth of the Right Honorable Raila Odinga. I have never seen anything near the corruption of handshake, Miriam, because in politics you have to see what is not being said. All this propaganda that is being spewed by the ODM side, the Kiereweke side that is supports the president, and everyone, Miriam, on the floor is that they hope that one day they shall feed on the political carcass of the BBI. And it is not going to happen so. Miriam, we have seen the president even move, even putting BBI in national conversations and national speeches, that is presidential speeches that he makes across the nation. It shows you the extent that the president has gone to own up this project together with the Right Honorable Raila Odinga. For me, I will never believe anything that ODM says. I will never believe anything that Jubilee Party says concerning the handshake, because this is a culmination of the BBI is a culmination of the handshake that happened between two people, between two leaders who are prominent in this country, the Right Honorable Raila Odinga and the President of the Republic of Kenya. So my point is, at the end of the day, if we don't hear from Uhuru Kenyatta, if we don't hear from Raila Amolo Odinga, we are having problems in this nation, because Miriam, everyone is trying to remain relevant today. Because tomorrow they will be talking about another thing. Last month we were talking about, is the handshake dead? Now we are talking about again, is the BBI process going to succeed? Because all these aspersions that are being casted along the way have been casted since the handshake happened 3 years ago, Miriam. And I don't believe anything that doesn't come from the president. And I'm praying for him. I'm praying for the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, so that the unity of this nation, inclusivity through unity, inclusivity through development, shall be achieved through the BBI process and shall be achieved and be bequeathed to the next generation of our country, Miriam. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So you, from what I've heard you say, only two mouths matter in this case. That one of Raila Odinga, any statements coming from them, and that of President Uhuru Kenyatta. Our wengine, they should just follow the cue of those two leaders. Okay. Musa Abdi Haji.
Thank you, Miriam. And just to respond to this question of BBI, Miriam, I would like to quote a quote by Wayne Dana when he said, the highest form of ignorance is when you reject something you don't know anything about. And as far as this is concerned, our politicians, Miriam, in this country, these are people who are blindly, Miriam, being led by some political patronage. What do we speak about this? The leaders we have, Miriam, in this country are the leaders who are purportedly supporting something, not because they have read it, not because they have benefited from it, but simply because so and so has said it, Miriam. And I'm a political science student. We are always told, Miriam, on how to tell the truth. Some people in this country, Miriam, and I will say it is ignorance, they said, we don't need to read BBI document for ourselves because it's Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. If he has said yes, then it is yes for us. Miriam, it might be right, but it cannot be right politically. The same happens to other people, Miriam, who are saying maybe from Mount Kenya or Northern Kenya, I've read the BBI document. No, I don't need to read it. President Uhuru Kenyatta or someone else has read it, then I don't need to read it. That is the highest form of ignorance we have in this country, Miriam. And now bringing this into perspective of BBI, unfortunately, Miriam, or fortunate enough, no document can be perfect. No human writing, Miriam, except Bible and Quran, which can be perfect, because those are God words. But no document written by a human being, Miriam, can be perfect. That is the anomaly of life. So this BBI document, Miriam, it cannot be perfect, But yes, it has more good than harm. That is the logic we use, Miriam. It brings more good than harm. But what we were predicting to be afraid of, and we were relaying our fears, Miriam, as one of the members of the marginalized community in this country, is that this document is going to be sabotaged. This document is going to be cut short from its own objective. This document is going to be strangled, Miriam. And this document is going to be interpreted to the interest of political class, Miriam, rather than the interest of the larger class. And that is what is happening in the National Assembly, and that is what has happened with the members of the County Assembly, whereby, Miriam, the larger ilk of the communities and the mass were left out, and yet we were there. Bigger chunk of people supported these documents. So what I'm seeing here is now this BBI, Miriam, is not going to fall because Kenyans hate it. No, it's going to fall because few political class in this country, Miriam, want to have an interest in this document. The document is speaking about youth commission. They want to ensure their clansmen and tribesmen and their sons and daughters are in this youth commission. If the BBI is speaking about internationally accredited firm to recruit KDF and any army or police military recruits, it's going to be done by the likes of Deloitte and KPMG. Miriam, there are some political class in this country who want to have direct connection with these auditors already. This is what we are speaking. And if BBI is going not to pass, I'm not going to blame Kenyans for this. I'm going to blame political class. Because of what, Miriam? Now we are seeing political class and, these politicians mixing 2022 with BBI, Miriam. Mm-hmm. That's what we are seeing. Let's not lie about it. Deputy President William Ruto is using the document of BBI to campaign on 2022. The formation of One Kenya Alliance, Miriam, they are taking advantage of the fact that they are the representative of every major clan in this country to take advantage of 2022. This is what we are seeing politically. And so it's my humble submission, Miriam, that good documents in this country, the likes of Ndungu report, Kriegler report, the Waki Commission report, and the very last, Miriam, the Truth, Justice and Reconciliation report never failed because of the presidency. It failed because of these political interests, Miriam, who are trying to mislead everything on the ground. Up to now, the issue of land question in this country is not solved. The issue of historical injustices, Miriam, is staying unsolved.
All right, very well.
And
Musa, we have to.
We don't have to blame BBI, Miriam, on this.
Mm-hmm.
We blame this political class.
All right. Thank you so much, Musa Abdi Haji there from Isiolo. Now, Obama's land today in Kenya for Mama Sarah's burial rites. Former U.S. President Barack Obama lands in Kenya today to attend the burial rites of his late grandmother, Mama Sarah Obama, who died at 99, died on Monday at the Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Teaching and Referral Hospital in Kisumu, where she had been admitted since Saturday last week. The plane carrying Obama and his family is expected to touch down at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport at 7:15 p.m. today. Thank you so much, Professor Jared Onyari, Dr. Joseph Nyanchama, Daniel Wasonga, Jevin Karanja, Douglas Kiringa, and of course Musa Abdi. We will take a short break and then we shall be back with all right, I'm being told that is April Fool's. Come on, the Star newspaper. All right, I've been told that is April Fool's story. Come on, they got me. What a shame.
Yeah, sure.
I did not know that. All right, bye-bye.